Hey guys, Cal here, and today I'm standing here with the 2024 Ford Escape Active all-wheel drive. Now, in the last generation of the Ford Escape, the base models were the S and the SE, but on the new body style of the Ford Escape, the base model is now called the Active. So let's see, what do you get in the base model configuration on the new Ford Escape? All right guys, so on the front end of the 2024 Ford Escape, you're gonna find your LED headlamps as well as your LED turn signals, and then right below that is your black piece of plastic down here where there should be a fog light, but again, this is a base model, so there's not going to be a fog light down there. And then your grille in the center here is also a flat black plastic, so really nothing special to look at around the Ford symbol here up front. There's a small strip of chrome right there to kind of spice things up just a little bit. And then if you guys look within the grille itself, you will see that there are active aero shutters. Now what those do is they improve aerodynamics by about 6%, I read in a study somewhere, so that'll improve fuel economy very marginally. They open and close automatically depending on if the engine needs extra cooling or if it thinks that you are in a position where some extra aerodynamics are possible. Now taking a look under the hood of our 2024 Ford Escape Active here, you will see the turbocharged 1.5 liter 3-cylinder. That's right, it is a 3-cylinder in here. Now that is the new 1.5 liter EcoBoost. It puts out 180 horsepower and 199 pound-foot of torque, and it gets about 26 miles to the gallon in the city, 32 miles to the gallon on the highway, and about 28 miles to the gallon combined. Now moving on the side of our Escape here, you will see that the front bumper flows pretty smoothly into the rest of the design of the Escape like it has for the past few years. I really like what they've done with the design of this. And then as for your wheels down here, these are 17-inch painted alloy wheels, and they are wrapped in the Continental Pro Contact TXs, and that is a 225/65/17 for the tire size. And then your side mirrors here are nothing special because this is just a base model, so they're just a black plastic side mirror, no paint match side mirror, no turn signal indicator on the outside. But on the rear side of the mirror, you will see that there is blind zone alert, and that is because according to the window sticker, the blind zone alert on the Escape Active comes standard, so you will still have that on your base model Escape. Now as for the passive entry is on the front 2 door handles only, not on the back door handle, I noticed, so they kind of cheaped out there. And on your fuel door in the back, if you click that just like that, it'll open up. There's no reason to go inside and hit a button. It does open from the outside, and they have a little sticker on the inside of the door that lets you know that the 1.5 liter EcoBoost can run on just 87. Now the only interesting thing I noticed about walking down the side of the Ford Escape here is the fact that there is no place up top to put any roof rails, crossbars, anything like that. They don't have any plugs in the roof to put crossbars in. They don't have any roof rails to attach crossbars to. So if you're looking to do a roof box on the Escape Active, you're just going to have to get a little crafty and order a solution from a third party. And then as for the back of the Ford Escape here, I think they've done a very good job at giving it a fresh, crisp look. I love the new Escape badging. I love the new style taillights back here. We have the Active badging down here that also kind of gives it a crisp look. So like Ford always does a good job at doing, I think they've done a very good job at giving this a fresh, current look. And that's a very hard thing to do in the SUV space because a lot of these crossovers start to look the same nowadays. And I also wanted to note that it was pretty cool of Ford to add these dual exhausts to the Ford Escape Active here, because usually on a lot of base model SUVs, they don't give you the dual exhaust option. It's typically just a single exhaust on either side. All right, here we are in the trunk of the Escape Active here. It's about the same size as the trunk in the Chevy Equinox, so it is right on par with that. It looks like it's pretty much exactly the same size. It does have a 12-volt power plug on the driver's side wall back here, so you do have that. If you want to plug a vacuum in, vacuum some things up, you want to plug an air pump in, you do have that back here. And then this bottom panel does come out because the spare tire is right below that, so you do have your spare tire and your jack right below this bottom floor panel. All right guys, now we've made it to the back seat of the Escape Active here, and you'll see that I am sitting behind myself. I didn't move my chair at all. I kept it in the exact same position that it just was for my driving, and you'll see that me being 6'2", mostly legs, I still do have a good amount of leg space, maybe about an inch or so before my my knees touch the chair, but still they're not touching the chair back here. These seats do recline, so I can have it in this position. I can even pull it up a little bit if I want to sit a little bit more upright. And then back here, because this is the base model, there's not too many amenities. The back doors are entirely black vinyl with a black door handle and just a simple window switch with some very small door pockets. I'm not even sure if you can get a 12-ounce can of soda in that little cup holder that they have in there. I guess they're just putting that for decoration. And then the back seat also does have your little air vents back here and 2 little chargers for your back seat passengers. Okay guys, now we've made it to the front seat of the Escape Active here. And on my door panel here is the same plain black vinyl that I did have in the back seat. So nothing very flashy on the door panels here. They are really rather plain. I have all my window switches over there and my mirror adjusters, so it does have power mirrors. And then there is a little button to open your tailgate from here, so it does actually have a powered tailgate, so do note that. That's pretty nice to see. And the steering wheel itself is wrapped in a nice leather that does feel a little bit higher quality than the Chevy Equinox leather. This feels like it's going to hold up pretty well over time. And then I do have all of my cruise control settings on the left side of the wheel, as well as my button to control the lane keep assist. And then I do have buttons on the left side as well to control my volume for the radio and my voice functions for my phone. And then on the right side of the wheel, I do have the buttons and controls that will control the driver information center straight ahead of me, so I can view my trips, my fuel economy information, my tire pressures, things like that, and my buttons to skip through the songs on my playlist or skip to the next song on the radio, and a button to pick up and hang up phone calls on the right side of the wheel. And the wheel feels really good in the hands. It has decent 10-2 grips, not the best I've ever felt, but the 9-3 grips are really sweet on this wheel. And then as for the radio in the Escape Active here, it is laid out very simply, much like the Maverick I just test drove. They laid it out very good here. Everything looks crisp. The graphics are great. They have the outdoor temperature up here on the right side. They have the time on the left side over here. The home button is right up top, very easy to find on the left side. The audio button all the way to the bottom left is where you're going to find your AM, FM, Sirius, and Bluetooth music. And then within your phone app is where you are going to find your phone, your contacts, all those things in there. The apps button is right in the middle. That's where you're going to find your Apple CarPlay or your Android Auto. And your settings button is the 4th one in. That's going to be your settings for the entire vehicle right there. And this touch screen, I want to note, is very responsive to the touch, and it's fast. There's no lag and it responds to the finger great. And then the last button all the way to the right side, all the way to the bottom right, is going to be a selection of your drive modes of the vehicle. There is an eco mode, a normal mode, sport mode, and slippery mode here in the Escape Active. And then also some other info regarding your driver assistance and your owner's manual in digital format. And then your climate control is very simple in here. You have your air vents right below the radio screen here, and you have your fan speed buttons right dead center in the middle. You have your buttons to select where you want that airflow to go. And this does have the dual zone climate up here as well, and some heated seats, and even a heated steering wheel option, which I thought was pretty cool to see in sort of a base model vehicle. And then as for our center tunnel here in the Escape, I do have a couple chargers down here. There is also a 12-volt charger down there too. I like to see that they have not eliminated the 12-volt charger like some other manufacturers have. Right behind that is your dial style shifter that it does work well. It pops in and out of gear pretty easily, so I don't notice any delay with this. So the Range Rover style dial does work pretty well here. And the cup holders look pretty good. They're not the biggest cup holders I've ever seen. It would be nice to see them a little bit bigger in here. In the middle also is going to be your parking brake and your brake hold button, and another button to go through your drive modes, and a button to shut off your auto stop start. So thank you for that, Ford. We like to see that. And then your center console here is a pretty fair size. I'm almost able to get my whole forearm in there. I will say that this does look bigger than the center console I see in the Chevy Equinox. And then the center armrest here is just covered in a padded vinyl, so that does feel pretty good too, and is a pretty good place to rest your arm while you're on a long drive. drive. All right guys, here we are getting out onto the road in the Ford Escape Active here. Now, like I said earlier, we have that 180 horsepower and 199 pound-foot of torque, 3-cylinder under the hood. So that's a little strange. I did drive some of the 3-cylinders that were in the Chevy Trailblazer, and those 3-cylinders that are in the Trailblazer actually pulled it along a lot better than I thought they would, but I have yet to get behind the wheel of this 3-cylinder Ford Escape. So we're gonna give it a little acceleration test. I'll kind of throw the 0 to 60 of it up on the screen here for you guys in a minute. Looks like we're all clear. All right, here we go in the 3-cylinder. Wow, I cannot believe that's a 3-cylinder. That's crazy. I didn't even have that in sport mode, and that's a damn good pickup. Even for a 4-cylinder, I don't have good pickup like that out of some 4-cylinders that I test drive. That was really, really good. Another thing I'll mention on this is the steering is so light. Now, when you're actually at a rolling speed, the steering on this is a little numb, but when you're at lower speeds, like you're in a parking lot, you're maneuvering, you're getting in and out of a space, things like that, it is really, really easy to maneuver. And not only is the steering wheel incredibly easy to turn, but it has a really tight turning radius. So getting in and out of tight spaces in this car is so easy. So I really, really like that about the Escape here. And another thing I'm noticing about the chassis in here is that it does take bumps really, really well. Incredibly smooth chassis, bumps aren't jarring at all, soaks the bumps up really, really well. So love the chassis in here. They're doing a great job with the suspension. It feels great. And the noise of the 3-cylinder really isn't as intrusive as you think it would be. You think you'd hear that 3-cylinder, it'd be really raspy sounding and things, and you do hear it a little bit. If you can notice hearing the difference between a 4-cylinder and a 3-cylinder, you can hear that if you're kind of apt to listening to that difference, but you don't really mind it. It's not the worst sound I've ever had. The sound deadening in here is pretty good. I don't hear a ton of road noise. I don't hear a ton of engine noise. I do hear the engine, but it's not really overbearing. Not as bad sounding as I thought it was going to be for being a 3-cylinder engine in here. And another thing I'd like to mention about the interior here is how spacious the front seat is. I mean, I'm 6'2", and I have a lot of leg space to stretch out here. More than enough. So I mean, if you got to take this thing on a road trip and you're a taller person, you're gonna have a good amount of space here. And one more thing I really like about this car is that the brake pedal, compared to say like the Ford F-150 and the Ford Explorer, the brake pedal doesn't feel like it's made of wood in the Escape here, because I'll tell you, when you hit the brakes in the F-150 and in the Explorer, I mean, you don't even feel like you're connected to the braking system at all. You're like, well, I'm hitting the brake pedal, I hope I stop. But in this, I don't have a wooden brake pedal. The brake pedal in the Escape has good feeling. You can mitigate what you're doing with the brakes. I think they did a great job with that too. All right guys, that wraps it up for my review of the 2024 Ford Escape Active. I think it's a pretty good value SUV in the Escape Active all-wheel drive trim that I saw here today, because of all that standard equipment like the heated seats and the heated steering wheel, that power tailgate. Pretty good deal for all the equipment you get. So I think it is a good choice for you in this market, and that 1.5 liter 3-cylinder might scare some people away, but it really does make incredible power. I wanted to thank my friends here at Bob Johnson Ford in Avon, New York for providing me this Escape to review for you guys. If you guys are interested in this Escape or any other Escape, they do have a few in stock, so you can give them a call. I'll have all their info in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Like and subscribe to the channel, and I will see you guys in the next review.